Beneath the rolling hills of Europe lies a mystery that defies explanation. While the world's ancient civilizations built pyramids, monuments to power, to the gods, to immortality, Europe stands silent. No towering stone peaks, no cosmic alignments, just emptiness. But why? Some claim Europe's pyramids are hidden, buried by time, or worse, erased by those in power. Others insist they never existed at all. So where does the truth lie, and why does it matter? To find the answer, we must first unravel a conspiracy centuries in the making. And let's begin with the most infamous European pyramid, the so-called Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, discovered, or rather declared in 2005 by amateur archaeologist Samir Osmanagic. This site sparked a media frenzy. Headlines screamed that Europe's pyramids had been found at last, but within months the truth emerged. The European Association of Archaeologists called it a cruel hoax. The ancient stone blocks, just natural sandstone fractures, the tunnels, medieval mines, the pyramid, a very pretty hill. Yet Osmanagic still claims a vast conspiracy to hide the truth. And he's not alone. Across Europe, from Italy to Serbia, amateur sleuths point to odd-shaped mounds and shout pyramid. But why this desperation to rewrite history? Perhaps because Europe's few pyramid-like structures are disappointing. Take Rome's Pyramid of Cestius, built around 12 BC as a trendy Egyptian-style tomb. It's small, it's off-center, and it proves nothing except that Romans thought pyramids were exotic decor. So if Europe has no real pyramids, what does it have? Meet Newgrange, built 5,200 years ago, older than Stonehenge, older than the pyramids of Giza. At dawn on the winter solstice, sunlight pierces its narrow passage, flooding the inner chamber with golden light, a feat of engineering and astronomy. In function, it's a pyramid, a tomb for kings, a bridge between earth and sky, but in form, just a grassy knoll, because Neolithic Europe didn't build up, it built in. From Denmark's Jelling mounds to Sardinia's stone towers, Europe's ancestors buried their monuments or built them sideways. Even the mighty Celts, who could have stacked stone like the Egyptians, chose instead to worship in hidden forest groves.
Was this humility or something darker? A fear of attracting the gods' gaze, or worse, invaders' axes? Because while pharaohs ruled unchallenged for centuries, Europe's kings died young. Stability, the backbone of pyramid building, was a fantasy in a land of endless war.
Then came the church, and with it, a new kind of pyramid. Gothic cathedrals soared higher than any pyramid dared. Their spires, pointed like the pharaoh's peaks, claimed the same divine connection, but in the name of Christ, not Horus. And what of the old monuments? The church called them pagan vanity. Records show Christian mobs toppled standing stones, burned sacred groves, and just possibly erased Europe's few pyramids before they could inspire heresy. We'll never know for sure, but here's what we do know. Pyramids aren't miracles, they're math and misery. The Great Pyramid took 20,000 workers, 20 years, and countless lives. Europe's empires, they preferred conquest to construction. So no, Europe has no pyramids. It has something better and worse. Roads that outlasted empires, cathedrals that touched heaven, and now a union of nations that, for all its faults, has kept the peace long enough to ask, what if we built one now? Every pyramid civilization left behind instructions. The Egyptians had their temple carvings, the Maya, their Dresden Codex, even the Nubians painted step-by-step guides on tomb walls. But Europe, not a single scroll, not one stone tablet, just silence. Was this knowledge lost or destroyed? In 391 AD, Christian mobs burned the Library of Alexandria. Could they have erased Europe's pyramid blueprints too? We'll never know what truly perished in those flames, but something doesn't add up. Because Europe did attempt pyramids, just not how you'd expect. Behold, Monte da Codi, Europe's closest pyramid analogue. Built by the enigmatic Ozieri culture, this stepped altar resembles Mesopotamian ziggurats more than Giza's monuments. And here's the tragedy: it was abandoned mid-construction. The stones tell the story. Poor foundations, no quarry marks, a civilization that grasped the concept but lacked the engineering, like a child's drawing of the real thing. The difference between ambition and mastery, between wanting to touch the gods and actually reaching them. But perhaps Europe's architects were playing a different game entirely. While Egyptians aligned pyramids with Orion's belt, the Celts engineered their stone rows to capture moonbeams. The same celestial obsession, the same divine mathematics, just horizontal instead of vertical. Why build up when the heavens come to you? This philosophical rift may explain everything. Pyramid cultures worshipped the sun as a king to be approached. Europe's druids saw the cosmos as a river to be entered. One demanded monuments, the other portals. Then came history's great disruptors, the Vikings. While Baghdad scholars preserved ancient geometry, Norse raiders ensured Europe would remain pyramid-free for centuries. You can't build for eternity when next summer might bring fire and axe. Stability, that essential pyramid ingredient, became Europe's impossible dream. Every time European knowledge neared critical mass, the North sent destroyers. The message was clear: your monuments are just kindling. So here we stand at civilization's crossroads. With all we've uncovered, one terrifying question remains: did Europe's pyramid drought create the modern world? Here lies history's great irony. While pyramid cultures perfected the art of eternity in stone, Europe mastered the art of reinvention. No pyramids, no, something far more dangerous. An entire civilization built not on worshipping the past, but conquering the future. Even when Europe's greatest mind, Leonardo, studied pyramids, he abandoned them. Why? Because his patrons didn't pay for tributes to dead kings. They wanted war machines, city plans, flying machines. That missing pyramid blueprint wasn't lost, it was discarded. While others looked upward, Europe looked forward, and that changed everything.
So here's the uncomfortable truth. Europe's lack of pyramids isn't a failure. It's the reason you're watching this on a screen instead of praying to a sun god. Pyramids demand absolute power, endless resources, and frozen traditions. Europe's chaos of kingdoms, its relentless wars, its church schisms, and then they forced adaptation or death. The same instability that made pyramids impossible made the modern world inevitable.
Perhaps that was always the difference. Other cultures built pyramids to defy time. Europe waited until it could build pyramids that teach us how to outgrow them.